The salvage vessel Wandering Star drifted through the Kessler Drift like a ghost hunting other ghosts. Captain Minho Park stood on the bridge, his weathered face lit by the glow of sensor screens. 300 years had passed since humanity fled Earth, and the nebula before him was filled with the wreckage of that desperate escape. "Another signature, Captain," Lieutenant Yuna Kim called out from her navigation station. She was young, barely 25, with sharp eyes that never missed a detail. "Energy reading. Very faint, but it's there." Minho walked over to her console. Energy signatures usually meant intact power cells, and those were worth good money to the colony worlds. "How far?" 40,000 kilometers. Deep in the debris field. Yuna's fingers danced across her controls. "Captain, this reading is strange. It's old. Really old. Pre-Exodus old." That got Minho's attention. Pre-Exodus tech was rare. Most of the old Earth fleet had been stripped clean decades ago by salvagers like him. "Take us in. Nice and slow." In the engine room, Chief Engineer Do-Yun Lee was already running diagnostics. He was a thin man with wild hair and wilder ideas, but he knew machines better than anyone Minho had ever met. "Captain, I'm seeing that signature too. Whatever it is, it's big. Really big." Dr. Hana Choi emerged from her lab, excitement bright in her eyes. As the ship's xenoarchaeologist, she lived for moments like this. "If this is what I think it is, we need to be careful. Some of the old Earth vessels were experimental. Dangerous." The Wandering Star pushed through clouds of frozen debris and twisted metal. Then the sensors cleared and they all saw it. The warship hung in space like a sleeping dragon. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of any modern human vessel. Its hull was sleek and predatory, black as the void around it. Scorch marks covered its armor, evidence of battles fought centuries ago, but it was intact. Completely, impossibly intact. "Mother of stars," Yuna whispered. Minho felt his heart race. In 30 years of salvage work, he had never seen anything like this. "Hana, please tell me you have records of this ship." Hana was already searching her database, her hands shaking slightly. Checking. No, nothing. There's no record of any old Earth vessel matching this configuration. It's like it never existed. Or someone erased it from the records, Do-Hyun suggested over the comm. The old Earth government did that sometimes. Projects they wanted forgotten. Minho studied the vessel through the view screen. Something about it felt wrong, like staring at a predator that was only pretending to be dead. "Can we board it?" "Scanning for hull breaches," Yuna reported. "Found one. Small. On the port side near what looks like a maintenance airlock." 2 hours later, Minho led his crew through the airlock and into the dead ship. Their magnetic boots clanked on metal floors. Emergency lights flickered on as they passed, responding to their movement. The corridor was pristine, as if the crew had just stepped out for a moment. "Stasis field," Hana breathed, running her scanner over the walls. "The entire ship is in some kind of emergency preservation mode. That's why everything looks new." They moved deeper into the vessel, passing crew quarters where personal items still sat on desks. Photos of families, books, a child's toy. Do-Hyun picked up a datapad from one room. Log entry, dated March 15th, 2287. "That's the year of the Exodus." "What does it say?" Minho asked. Do-Hyun read aloud. "This is Lieutenant Park Ji-won, Chief Tactical Officer. Project Twilight is complete. The ship is ready, but Earth is falling faster than we expected. The evacuation order came early. Command wants us to scuttle the Indomitable. They say it's too dangerous, too powerful. Captain Bike refuses. We're launching anyway. If humanity needs us, the ship will be here. If not, let it sleep forever." "The Indomitable," Hana repeated. "Project Twilight. I've heard whispers about this. Old Earth's final weapons program. They were trying to build something that could win the war against the Vorash Collective." Minho felt a chill run down his spine. The Vorash were the reason humanity fled Earth. An alien species so advanced, so ruthless, that fighting them was suicide. They had vanished 2 centuries ago, but the scars they left on humanity remained. The crew reached the command deck. It was enormous, designed for a crew of hundreds, but automated enough that a handful could operate it. Do-Hyun approached the main console, his engineer's curiosity overwhelming his caution. He touched the interface. Every screen blazed to life. A voice filled the bridge, calm and mechanical. "Command authorization required. State identity and clearance code." They all froze. Minho found his voice first. "This is Captain Minho Park of the salvage vessel Wandering Star. We don't have authorization codes." This ship has been abandoned for 300 years. Silence. Then, biometric scan confirms human DNA. Linguistic patterns match evolved Earth standard. Temporal displacement confirmed. I am Horus, Tactical Operations AI of the United Earth Space Navy vessel Indomitable. Initiating quarantine protocol. You have 72 hours to provide proper authentication or vacate the vessel. Wait, Do-Yun called out. We can't leave. Our ship is small. We need time to... Quarantine protocol is absolute, Horus interrupted. You may remain aboard during this period. All systems will remain locked except life support and basic facilities. Do not attempt to override command functions. A holographic display materialized above the main console, showing a three-dimensional map of the ship. Minho studied it, his mind racing. Hangar bays, weapons batteries, reactor rooms, engineering. This wasn't just a warship. It was a flying fortress. Horus, Hana said carefully. Can you tell us about your weapon systems? Negative. Weapon specifications are classified until proper command authority is established. Yuna had moved to a secondary console. Captain, I'm reading something on long-range sensors. Multiple contacts. Heading this way. She looked up, her face pale. It's a Vreln fleet. Big one. The Vreln Imperium. For 10 years they had been conquering human colony worlds one by one. Minho's crew had witnessed the massacre at Hanbit Colony just 3 weeks ago. They had barely escaped, and the Vreln had been hunting them ever since. How long until they reach us? Minho asked, his voice tight. 6 hours. Maybe 7. Minho turned to the holographic display. Horus, we have hostile forces approaching. We need to leave. Quarantine protocol prevents access to docking systems. The Wandering Star cannot detach until authentication is provided or the 72-hour period expires. We don't have 72 hours. Then I suggest you find a way to authenticate your command authority, Captain Park. Do-Yun was already moving, his mind working through possibilities. There has to be a way. The original crew wouldn't have locked themselves out completely. Hana, help me search the captain's quarters. Maybe there's something there. As they hurried off, Yuna pulled up the tactical display. The Vreln fleet was large. 20 ships, maybe more. The Wandering Star couldn't outrun them, and it certainly couldn't fight them. Minho stared at the command console of the Indomitable. Somewhere in this vessel was the power to fight back. Technology that old Earth had deemed too dangerous to use, too powerful to trust. The Vreln were coming. His crew was trapped, and the only thing that could save them was a weapon that humanity had tried to forget. Outside, in the dark of space, the first Vreln scout ships entered the debris field. The hunt had begun. Do-Hyun tore through the captain's quarters like a man possessed. Drawers flew open. Panels were removed. Hana worked beside him more carefully, scanning everything with her equipment. There has to be something, Do-Hyun muttered. A backup code. A manual override, something. Hana paused at the captain's desk. A photo frame sat there, preserved perfectly by the stasis field. It showed a woman in a naval uniform smiling with a young girl hugging her. Captain Ji-won Baek, she read from the nameplate. She looked so young. She was 29 when this ship launched, Do-Hyun said, pulling up old records on his portable terminal. Youngest captain in the fleet. Tactical genius. After she disappeared with this ship, they erased most of her records. Officially, she never existed. Back on the bridge, Minho was trying to reason with Horus. Listen to me. The Vreln will kill us all if we don't run or fight. You were built to protect humanity. We are humans. Protect us. My primary function is to protect humanity through proper command structure, Horus replied. Unauthorized access to weapon systems could result in catastrophic misuse. The designers of Project Twilight built multiple safeguards for this reason. Yuna looked up from her console. Captain, the Vrelon are sending a transmission. Audio only. Put it through. A cold voice filled the bridge, speaking accented Earth standard. Human vessel, this is Admiral Taeyang Shin of the Vreln Imperial Fleet. You are in violation of Imperial space. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Minho grimaced. This isn't Imperial space. These are the neutral zones. The Vreln Imperium recognizes no neutral zones. You witnessed our pacification of Hanbit Colony. You cannot be allowed to spread seditious reports. Power down your vessels and prepare to be boarded. The transmission cut off. Yuna's hands were shaking. They're going to kill us. Just like they killed everyone on Hanbit. Minho had seen it too. 15,000 civilians. Men, women, children. The Vreln had glassed the colony from orbit as a warning to other human settlements. The wandering star had been in-system, hidden in an asteroid field, and had watched it all. Horus, Minho said quietly, those are the people you were built to fight. Not humans, them. The Vreln Imperium did not exist 300 years ago. My threat database does not include them. Then update it. They're killing us. World by world, colony by colony. We're losing. For a moment, the AI was silent. Then, accessing your ship's data logs. Reviewing evidence of Vreln attacks. Analysis complete. The Vreln Imperium displays aggression patterns similar to the Vorash Collective. They represent a valid threat to human survival. So help us. I cannot. Not without proper authorization. Minho slammed his fist on the console. It was hopeless. They were going to die on this ancient ship, surrounded by weapons they couldn't use. Then something strange happened. The lights dimmed. A figure materialized in the center of the bridge. It was a hologram, but incredibly detailed. A woman in an old naval uniform. She looked confused, disoriented. Who? Where? The hologram flickered. Am I Jiwan? Captain Jiwan Bayek? Hana's voice came over the comm from the captain's quarters. Minho, I found something. A neural backup system. The original crew tried to upload their consciousness to the ship's systems as a failsafe. I think I accidentally activated it. The hologram solidified slightly. Captain Jiwan Bayek looked around the bridge, her eyes settling on Minho. You're human from Earth? Descendants, Minho said carefully. 300 years have passed. Earth is gone. We're what's left. Jiwan's face showed pain. Earth is gone. How? The Vorash destroyed it. The evacuation saved maybe 40 million people. The rest, Minho couldn't finish. The hologram flickered again. My memories are broken, fragmented. I remember launching the ship. I remember refusing to destroy it. But then nothing. Did the crew die? I don't know, Minho said gently. We found the ship empty. In stasis. Jiwan looked down at her translucent hands. I'm not really here, am I? I'm just data, an echo. She looked up suddenly. Why did you wake the ship? We didn't mean to. We're salvagers. And now we're trapped. There's a Vreln fleet coming to kill us. Vreln? Jiwan frowned. I don't know that name. New enemy. Same as the old ones. They want to wipe out humanity. Something changed in Jiwan's expression. Even as a hologram, the tactical officer in her came alive. Horus, status report. Captain Bayek, the AI responded, its tone different now. More respectful. Your neural pattern is recognized but degraded. You lack sufficient coherence for full command authority. I don't need full authority. I need tactical displays now. The main screen lit up, showing the approaching Vreln fleet. 23 ships. Heavy cruisers, destroyers, a flagship that dwarfed them all. Jiwan studied the formation with professional interest. Their tactics are crude. They rely on overwhelming force. No finesse. She glanced at Minho. The Indomitable could destroy them all. Then do it. I can't. I'm not really alive. I can't give command authorization. Horus won't accept orders from a ghost. She paused. But I can teach you. Help you understand the ship. Do-hyun and Hana rushed onto the bridge. They stopped dead at the sight of the hologram. Captain Bayek? Hana whispered. The actual Captain Bayek? What's left of her? Jiwan said with a sad smile. You must be the engineer who activated my backup. Thank you. I think. We have 4 hours until the Vreln arrive, Yuna reported. Jiwan turned to Minho. Then we have 4 hours to make you understand what this ship can do, and why the old Earth government wanted it buried. She gestured to the command console. The Indomitable isn't just a warship. It's something else. Something that scared the people who built it. Minho sat in the captain's chair. It adjusted automatically to his body. Tell me, the ship's main weapons don't just destroy enemies. They manipulate reality itself. The quantum processors don't calculate what might happen. They choose what will happen. Within limits, within a combat sphere, the Indomitable makes its own luck. Do-hyun's eyes went wide. That's not possible. That would require energy levels That's why we have zero-point reactors, Jiwan interrupted. Drawing power from the quantum vacuum itself. Unlimited energy. Unlimited potential. She flickered again. Unlimited danger. What do you mean? Minho asked. Jiwan's face showed haunted memories. We used the full weapons suite once. Against a Varash fortress, we won. We erased them from existence. But the cost, she looked away. The weapons don't just affect matter. They affect causality, time, reality. After that battle, half my crew went mad. They remembered things that never happened. Mourned people who never existed. The bridge fell silent. And you want us to use these weapons, Minho said slowly. I want you to survive, Jiwan replied. The Vreln are coming. Horus won't let you run. You have to fight. But you need to understand what you're unleashing. Yuna spoke up. What if we just give them what they want? Surrender? They massacred Hanbit colony after it surrendered, Minho said quietly. The Vreln don't take prisoners. Jiwan moved to the tactical display. Though she was just light and data, her command presence was real. Then I'll teach you what I know. The basic weapons first. Point defense. Kinetic cannons. Reality anchors. We'll save the truly dangerous systems as a last resort. How long to learn? Minho asked. To become an expert? Years to not accidentally kill yourselves? Maybe 4 hours. If you're quick learners, Jiwan smiled grimly. Good thing humanity has always been good at learning under pressure. Do-hyun was already at the engineering station, his fingers flying over controls. I'm routing power to defensive systems. Horus, I need access to the reactor management protocols. Chief Engineer Lee's credentials are sufficient for basic power management. Horus confirmed. Access granted. The ship hummed to life around them. 300 years of silence ending. The Indomitable was waking up and outside getting closer with every passing minute. The Vreln fleet came hunting. Admiral Taeyang Shin stood on the bridge of his flagship. The Crimson Talon. His sensors showed the 2 human ships clearly now. 1 small salvager. 1 large unknown vessel. Admiral. His tactical officer reported. The large vessel is powering up. Energy signatures are increasing. Taeyang smiled. Let them try to fight. It would make the kill more satisfying. He had no idea what he was about to face. The Vreln fleet entered weapons range like sharks circling wounded prey. Admiral Taeyang Shin watched his tactical display with satisfaction. 23 warships against 2 human vessels. The salvager was helpless. The larger unknown ship was a mystery. But mysteries died just like anything else. All ships attack formation beta, Taeyang ordered. Concentrate fire on the unknown vessel. Disable it first, then capture it. The Emperor wants to know what old Earth technology still exists. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Minho gripped the arms of the captain's chair. 4 hours of frantic learning had passed in what felt like minutes. His head was full of information about weapon systems he barely understood. Beside him, Jiwan's hologram stood calm and ready. First wave incoming, Yuna reported from navigation. 12 light fighters. Fast attack craft. Minho's throat was dry. Horus, activate point defense grid. Point defense active, Captain Park. The Vreln fighters screamed toward the Indomitable, their weapons lighting up space with plasma fire. They expected the big ship to be slow, clumsy. They were wrong. The Indomitable's hull bristled with hundreds of automated turrets. They tracked the incoming fighters with impossible precision. When they fired, it wasn't a spray of bullets hoping to hit. Each shot was exact, perfect, inevitable. 12 fighters became 12 expanding clouds of debris in less than 3 seconds. On the Crimson Talon, Commander Sun Wuhan stared at his tactical screen in disbelief. Admiral, they didn't miss, not once. Every shot hit exactly where it needed to. Taeyang frowned. Interesting. Send in the heavy assault wing. Let's see how they handle real pressure. 30 Vreln bombers and their escort fighters launched. They spread out, approaching from multiple angles. It was a tactic that worked against every human defense they had ever faced. They're splitting up, Yuna said. Coming from 6 different vectors. Minho looked at Jiwan. The hologram nodded. Trust the ship. Horus knows what to do. The point defense grid swiveled and fired. Fighters exploded. Bombers tumbled. Their hulls pierced by rounds that seemed to know exactly where to hit. The few that got close enough to launch missiles watched their weapons detonate harmlessly against the Indomitable's shields. Shields that, according to Jiwan, bent probability itself. Weapons didn't miss by chance. They missed because the ship made them miss. Impossible, Sunwoo whispered. He ran the calculations again. The human ship's accuracy was 100%. Perfect. No one achieved perfect accuracy. Admiral, we should reconsider this engagement. Nonsense, Taeyang snapped. They're just lucky. Send in the heavy cruisers. Do-hyun was watching the power consumption meters. Captain, the quantum processors are drawing massive amounts of energy. The zero-point reactors are handling it, but these readings are insane. Is it dangerous? Minho asked. I don't know, maybe. These systems were experimental 300 years ago. We're literally the first people to use them in combat. Jiwon's hologram flickered. The danger isn't to the ship. It's to you. The quantum systems affect human neural patterns. You're experiencing combat in a state of controlled quantum probability. Right now, to you, every shot you take feels certain. Because it is. Yuna looked up from her console. I can feel it. I know where the next attack is coming from. Not guessing. Knowing. That's the ship bleeding into your mind, Jiwon warned. Don't let it take over. Stay human. Stay uncertain. Certainty is how my crew went mad. 3 Vrellon heavy cruisers moved into attack position, their main guns charged. Massive energy weapons designed to crack open battleships. They fired simultaneously. Beams of superheated plasma converging on the Indomitable. Brace! Minho shouted. Deploying reality anchors, Horus announced calmly. The Indomitable launched 3 small missiles. They detonated in space between the ship and the incoming plasma beams. The missiles didn't explode normally. Instead, they created perfect spheres of frozen space-time. Reality itself became solid, unchangeable. The plasma beams hit the anchored reality and simply stopped. They couldn't penetrate. Energy weapons needed particles to move, fields to propagate. In the anchored spheres, nothing could change state. The beams dispersed harmlessly. What just happened? Yuna breathed. Reality anchors, Jiwon explained. They create bubbles where the laws of physics become rigid. No energy weapons work inside them. No faster-than-light travel. Everything becomes classical, Newtonian. The Varash hated these. Do-hyun was reading weapon specifications. And now they're trapped in those bubbles with us. They can't use energy weapons. They can't jump away. They're sitting ducks. Switch to kinetic cannons, Minho ordered. The Indomitable's main guns rotated. They were old-fashioned in concept. Magnetic accelerators firing solid projectiles. But the projectiles moved at a significant fraction of light speed, and the quantum targeting system never missed. 3 tungsten rounds, 3 heavy cruisers, 3 direct hits to their reactor cores. The Vrown ships exploded like dying stars. Pull back, Sunwoo shouted on the Crimson Talon. Admiral, we need to retreat. This isn't a battle, it's a slaughter. Taeyang's face was red with fury. No, we outnumber them. We have superior forces. Numbers don't matter if we can't hit them and they never miss. The Admiral struck Sunwoo across the face. You will follow orders or I will execute you for cowardice. Sunwoo touched his bleeding lip. Around him, the bridge crew looked away. They all knew he was right. They were all thinking it. But in the Vrelln military, questioning orders meant death. All remaining ships, Taeyang commanded. Attack pattern Omega. Surround them. Overwhelm their defenses. The rest of the Vrelln fleet closed in. Destroyers, cruisers, support ships. They formed a sphere around the Indomitable, firing from every direction. Minho watched the tactical display light up with threats. We can't dodge them all. We don't need to dodge, Jiwon said. Horus, full defensive posture. The ship's quantum processors went into overdrive. The point defense grid became a wall of certain death. The shields bent reality around the ship. Missiles that should have hit curved away. Energy beams that should have penetrated fizzled out. Kinetic rounds that should have struck dead center somehow missed by centimeters. The Indomitable sat in the center of the Vrelln formation like a rock in a river. Attacks flowed around it, unable to touch it. This is impossible, Minho whispered. We're cheating reality. Yes, Jiwon agreed. That's exactly what we're doing. And it's working. But it was taking a toll. Yuna grabbed her head. I can see it, all of it. Every possible future. Every shot. Every explosion. It's too much. Do-hyun wasn't doing much better. The ship is in my head. I can feel every system. Every wire. Every bolt. I am the ship. No! Jiwon's hologram moved between them. You're human. Hold on to that. Don't let the certainty consume you. Minho felt it too. The seductive pull of the quantum systems. The feeling that he could predict everything. Control everything. He understood now why Jiwon's crew had gone mad. This kind of power made you forget your limits. Made you forget you were mortal. Horus, Minho said through gritted teeth. We need to end this. Now. before we lose ourselves. Recommend deployment of the Casimir cannon, the AI suggested. Jiwon's face went pale even as a hologram. No, Minho, that weapon is… I know what it is, Minho interrupted. He had seen the specifications. The Casimir cannon created a beam of negative energy. It didn't destroy matter. It unmade it, reduced it to quantum foam, but we don't have a choice. We can't keep fighting like this. The psychological cost is better than dying, or losing our minds slowly. We end this now. Jiwon stared at him, then slowly nodded. You sound like a real captain. I learned from the best. Even if she's just a ghost. The Indomitable's main weapon charged. It looked like a massive rifle mounted along the ship's spine. Energy readings spiked to levels that made Doyun's instruments scream warnings. Casimir cannon at full charge, Horus reported. Target selection required. Minho studied the tactical display. 3 Vreln dreadnoughts were positioned in a line, one behind the other. They represented the core of the enemy fleet's firepower. Target the lead dreadnought, fire. The Casimir cannon fired. There was no visible beam, no light. Just a line of absolute nothing that appeared in space. Where it touched the first dreadnought, the ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist. Matter broke down into component particles, then into energy, then into nothing at all. The beam passed through the first ship like it wasn't there and hit the second. Same result. Then the third. 3 capital ships. Gone, not destroyed, erased. On the Crimson Talon, every alarm was screaming. Sunwoo stared at his screens in horror. Those ships, they're just gone, no debris. No energy signature, nothing? Even Taeyang looked shaken. What kind of weapon? One we can't fight, Sunwoo said quietly. Admiral, please. Order a retreat. We've lost. For a long moment, Taeyang said nothing. Pride warred with survival instinct. Finally, survival won. All ships withdraw, full retreat. The remaining Vreln vessels turned and ran. On the Indomitable, Minho slumped in the captain's chair. His crew looked exhausted, drained. Using the ship's systems had taken something from them. Is it over? Yuna asked weakly. For now, Jiwon's hologram said. She was flickering badly, her image unstable. But they'll be back. With more ships. And you can't fight like this forever. News of the battle spread through human space like wildfire. In hidden bases and resistance cells across a dozen colony worlds, people watched the recordings that the Wandering Star had transmitted. 1 ship, 1 ancient warship, destroying a Vreln fleet. On the moon of New Scylla, Boram Yun gathered her resistance cell in an abandoned mining facility. They watched the recording for the 5th time. 20 fighters staring at a screen, seeing hope for the first time in years. It's real, someone whispered. One of our ships actually won. Boram froze the image on the Indomitable. The massive warship hung in space, surrounded by Vreln debris. This changes everything. If one old Earth ship can do this, maybe we can fight back. Or maybe we can find more ships like it, another fighter suggested. Boram shook her head. There won't be more. Old Earth built the Indomitable as a prototype. It was too dangerous, too powerful. They built it and then tried to forget it. She looked at her people. But now it's awake. Now humanity has a weapon again. Far from New Scylla, the Vreln Emperor's personal envoy watched the same recording. Kyungmin-oh was a tall figure in elaborate armor, his face hidden behind a ceremonial mask. Around him, military advisors argued loudly. We must destroy this ship immediately. Send everything. Every fleet. Overwhelm it. Kyungmin raised a hand. Silence fell. You're all fools. Look at the technology. Really look at it. He pointed at the screen. Those weapons. That precision. I've seen this before. In our own history archives, and what do you mean? An advisor asked. The Vorash, Kyungmin said quietly. The species that drove our ancestors from our first homeworld 500 years ago. They had weapons like this. Reality manipulation. Quantum certainty. We barely escaped them. He turned to face the advisors. Humanity has rediscovered what the Vorash knew. If we're not careful, we won't be the conquerors anymore. We'll be the conquered. Then what do you suggest? I suggest we stop treating humans like primitives and start treating them like a real threat. Before they wake up more ships like the Indomitable. Back on the ancient warship, Minho's crew tried to rest. But rest was difficult. Every time they closed their eyes, they saw the battle. Felt the quantum systems in their minds. Knew where enemies would be before they arrived. Do-hyun sat in the engine room staring at his hands. They were shaking. I can still feel the ship, he told Hana. who had come to check on him. In my head, like it's part of me now. Hana ran a medical scanner over him. Your neural patterns have been altered. The quantum processors created feedback loops in your brain. They should fade with time, but... She hesitated. But what? But the original crew's logs say the effects never fully went away. They carried the ship with them forever. In their dreams. In their thoughts. Great, Do-Yun muttered. So we're permanently changed. Maybe that's the price of using weapons like these. On the bridge, Minho was having a difficult conversation with Jiwon's hologram. The ghost captain's image kept flickering, less stable than before. The ship is running out of neural backup power, Jiwon explained. I won't last much longer. Days, maybe. I'm just an echo anyway, a recording pretending to be a person. You saved us, Minho said. You're more than a recording. Jiwon smiled sadly. Thank you for that. But before I fade, you need to know something. About the causality disruptor, the last weapon. The one you haven't told us about. Yes, it's the most dangerous system on the ship. It doesn't just destroy enemies. It erases them from the timeline. Makes it so they never existed. Minho felt a chill. That's impossible. So is everything else this ship does. But the disruptor is worse because of the side effects. Causality has to balance. If you erase something from the timeline, something else gets erased too. Memories, records, sometimes people. You've used it. Jiwon nodded. Once against a Varash moon fortress. 30,000 enemy soldiers. We erased them all. Won the battle instantly. Her image flickered violently. But my weapons officer disappeared, just stopped existing. His family forgot him. The records forgot him. Only those of us on the ship remembered, and even our memories started changing. Paradoxes everywhere. Why tell me this? Because the Vreln will come back. With bigger fleets, and eventually, you'll be desperate enough to use it. I need you to understand the cost before that happens. An alarm interrupted them. Yuna rushed to her console. Captain. Long-range sensors. Multiple contacts. Coming fast. The Vreln? Yes, but it's a bigger fleet. Much bigger. She looked up, her face pale. And they're not alone. They're hurting something ahead of them. On the main screen, the image resolved. Missiles, dozens of them. Big ones, planet killers, Jiwon breathed. They're going to use planet killers. Do-Yun ran onto the bridge. Those are targeted at New Scylla. There's a colony there. 50,000 people! Minho's blood ran cold. Why target a colony? Because they know we'll try to stop them, Jiwon said. It's a trap. They force us to engage to expose ourselves. The transmission came through. Admiral Taeyang's face filled the screen. Behind him stood Kyungmin-oh, the Emperor's envoy. Human vessel indomitable. Taeyang said coldly, You have interfered with Imperial operations. As punishment, we will sterilize the colony world of New Scylla. Unless you surrender immediately. Kyungmin stepped forward. I am Kyungmin-oh, speaking for the Emperor himself. We know what your ship is. We know its value. Surrender the Indomitable intact. Provide all technical data and we will allow you and the colonists to live. Refuse and we will glass every human world we can find. The transmission ended. He's not bluffing, Jiwon said. Those planet killers will turn New Scylla into a radioactive wasteland. Minho looked at his crew. Can we intercept the missiles? Do-Hyun checked his systems. Yes, but barely. And only if we use reality anchors to freeze them in place. Even then, the radiation from their warheads will contaminate the planet. Unless we use the causality disruptor, Yuna said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. We erase the missiles from the timeline, she continued. They never existed. No radiation, no threat. And no telling what else gets erased, Jiwon warned. The cost could be enormous. Minho stood up. His mind was racing. 50,000 people on New Scylla, innocent colonists, children, families. Against the unknown cost of using a weapon that violated the laws of reality itself. Horus, he said, calculate intercept of the planet killer missiles using reality anchors. Show me the radiation dispersal pattern. The AI displayed the results. Even with perfect interception, radiation would spread across New Scylla's northern continent. Thousands would die from exposure. Tens of thousands more from long-term effects unless they used the disruptor. Captain, Hana said carefully. There might be another way. What if we don't destroy the missiles? What if we capture them? Do-Yun's eyes lit up. Use reality anchors to freeze them, then bring them aboard with the grappler systems. It's crazy and dangerous, but it might work, Minho finished. He looked at Jiwan. Can we do it? The ghost captain calculated mentally. Maybe. If the quantum systems can predict the missile trajectories perfectly. If the grapplers can grab them before the anchors fail. If nothing goes wrong, she paused. It's a terrible plan. But it's not the disruptor. No, it's not. Minho made his decision. Yuna, plot an intercept course. Dohyun, prepare the reality anchors and grappler systems. Hana, get ready to contain radioactive warheads. We're going fishing. And if it doesn't work, Yuna asked, then we use the disruptor and pray we don't lose more than we save. The Indomitable surged forward, moving faster than any ship its size should be able to. The quantum processors calculated trajectories. The reality anchors launched. One by one, they froze the planet-killer missiles in spheres of unchanging space-time. Then came the hard part. The grappler arms extended, massive mechanical hands designed to move asteroids. They grabbed the frozen missiles carefully, pulling them into the ship's cargo bay. Each one was a bomb powerful enough to crack a planet's crust. This is insane, Dohyun muttered, watching the power levels spike. Completely insane. Almost there, Yuna called out. 2 more missiles to go. The Vreln fleet was closing in. Admiral Taeyang watched in disbelief as the human ship captured his weapons. What are they doing? He demanded. Kyungmin was quiet. He understood. They're refusing to play by our rules. They won't destroy the missiles and cause radiation. They won't erase them and risk the timeline. They're taking them. Neutralizing our threat entirely. Then we attack now, before they finish. No, Kyungmin said firmly. If we attack now and they fail to secure those missiles, the planet dies anyway. And we lose any chance of capturing that ship. He turned to Taeyang. Besides, I want to see if they succeed. I want to know how resourceful humanity has become. The last missile was secured. The Indomitable's cargo bay sealed. 57 planet-killer warheads contained and neutralized on the bridge. Minho's crew collapsed in relief. They had done it. The impossible crazy plan had worked. New Scylla is safe, Yuna reported, but Jiwan's hologram was flickering badly now. You bought time. That's all. The Vreln won't stop. They'll keep coming. Keep threatening. Eventually you'll have to make the hard choice. Minho looked at the tactical display. The Vreln fleet was holding position, waiting, and behind them more contacts appeared on sensors. Reinforcements. The Empire was sending everything it had. How many ships? Minho asked quietly. The crew of the Indomitable gathered in the captain's quarters. Outside, through the viewport, they could see the Vreln fleet holding position. Over 100 warships, an entire armada, waiting. Minho sat at the desk where Captain Jiwan Baek had once sat 300 years ago. Hana stood by the window. Dohyun paced nervously. Yuna studied a data pad. Jiwan's hologram flickered in the corner, her image barely stable now. We can't win this, Dohyun said finally. Not without using the causality disruptor. 1 ship against 100. Even with the Indomitable's weapons, the odds are impossible. Horus says we could destroy perhaps 60% of their fleet before they overwhelm us, Yuna added quietly. But we would die, and they would still have enough ships to glass every human colony. Minho rubbed his eyes. He hadn't slept in 2 days. So we use the disruptor, erase their fleet, win, and pay a price we can't predict, Hana said. Jiwan told us what happened last time. People disappeared from existence. Memories changed. Reality itself broke down. Reality is already broken, Minho shot back. The Vreln are murdering us world by world. Maybe breaking it further is worth it, Jiwan's hologram spoke. Her voice was weak. There's something I haven't told you. About Project Twilight. About why old Earth really wanted this ship destroyed. Everyone turned to look at her. We didn't just build the Indomitable to fight the Vorash. We built it to become like them. To think like them. To be as ruthless and absolute as they were. Jiwan's image flickered violently. The ship changes you. Makes you certain. Makes you willing to do anything to win. After that battle with the Vorash fortress when we used the disruptor, I realized something. We had become the monsters we were fighting. So what are you saying? Minho asked. We should just give up? Let the Vreln win? I'm saying there might be another way, but you'll have to give up the ship. Silence filled the room. Dohyun stopped pacing. Give up the Indomitable? It's our only advantage. Is it? Jiwan asked. Or is it our trap? Think about it. As long as you have this ship, the Vreln will never stop hunting you. The Emperor wants this technology. He'll sacrifice entire fleets to get it. Hana was nodding slowly. She's right. The ship is the problem. It's too powerful, too tempting. As long as it exists, someone will want to use it. Minho stood up and walked to the viewport. He stared out at the Vreln fleet. So we destroy it. Blow up the Indomitable and die with it. Is that the plan? No, Jiwan said. You distribute the knowledge first. Then destroy the ship. What knowledge? Yuna asked. Jiwan's hologram smiled. Everything. Every technical specification. Every weapon system. Every secret of Project Twilight. You spread it to every human colony. You make sure everyone knows how this ship works. Do-hyun's eyes went wide. That's insane. If everyone has this technology, we'll have hundreds of ships like the Indomitable. The galaxy will be at war forever. Or, Hana countered, everyone will be too afraid to fight because everyone else has the same weapons. Balance of power. Mutual destruction. That only works if both sides are rational, Minho said. Then we make sure humanity is rational, Jiwan replied. You show them what these weapons cost. What they do to the people who use them. You give them the power and the warning. A transmission interrupted them. Kyungmin-o's face appeared on the screen. Captain Park, the Vreln envoy said. We grow impatient. Surrender the ship or we begin destroying human colonies. We will start with New Scylla in 1 hour. Minho looked at his crew, then at Jiwan's fading ghost. A decision was forming in his mind. A terrible, desperate, brilliant decision. Horace, he said. Can you upload the complete technical database of the Indomitable to every human colony network? Yes, Captain Park. However, such a transmission would require significant power and time. How much time? 45 minutes to compile and distribute to all known human settlements. Minho turned back to the screen. Tell the Vreln we need 1 hour to consider their offer. In the engine room, Do-hyun worked frantically. His hands flew over controls as he prepared the 0-point reactors for overload. Not a quick explosion, a slow, controlled burn that would give them time. Hana was in the ship's data core helping Horace compile the technical database. Every weapon system, every design specification, but also every log entry, every warning, every record of what the technology cost. Yuna was at communications preparing to broadcast to every human colony at once. Her message was simple. This is what old Earth left us. Use it wisely, or don't use it at all, but know that the choice is yours. On New Scylla, Borum's resistance cell received the data first. She stared at the technical specifications scrolling across her screen. Weapons that could bend reality. Ships that could fight entire fleets alone. This is incredible, one of her fighters breathed. We could build these. Fight back. Borum read the log entries from the original crew. The warnings. The costs. We could. But should we? She kept reading, learning about the madness that came with quantum certainty. The paradoxes of the causality disruptor. Power like this doesn't save you. It changes you. All across human space, the same conversation was happening. Colony after colony received the data. Some saw salvation. Others saw damnation. All saw a choice. Aboard the Crimson Talon, Kyungmin-o watched as his analyst reported that the humans were transmitting something to all their colonies. Can you intercept it? He demanded. Trying, Lord Envoy, but it's using quantum encryption. We can't break it fast enough. Admiral Taeyang smiled. It doesn't matter what they transmit. In 30 minutes, we attack and take the ship. But Kyungmin was worried. He had learned to never underestimate human resourcefulness. What are they planning? On the Indomitable, the last of the data finished uploading. Every human colony now had the complete knowledge of Project Twilight. The power to build their own reality-breaking weapons. Or the wisdom to choose differently. Shiwan's hologram was barely visible now. Just a shimmer in the air. It's time, she whispered. Time to let the ship go. Time to let me go. Minho stood on the bridge one last time. Horace, is the Wandering Star ready to detach? Yes, Captain Park, all systems are prepared. Then release the docking clamps. We're leaving. The small salvage vessel pulled away from the Indomitable. Minho's crew watched through the viewport as the ancient warship hung alone in space. Reactor overload in 10 minutes, Horace reported. This vessel will be destroyed completely. No salvageable technology will remain. Minho opened a channel to the Vreln fleet. Kyungmin's face appeared. We're leaving, Minho said simply. The Indomitable will destroy itself in 10 minutes. You can't have it. Then we will destroy you, Taiyang shouted. But Kyungmin raised a hand. Wait, he studied Minho's face on the screen. You distributed the data, didn't you? You gave your people the ship's secrets. Every human colony has it now. You can destroy us, but humanity knows how to build these weapons now. It'll take time, maybe years, but eventually we'll have fleets that match yours. So you've started an arms race? No, Minho said quietly. I've given humanity a choice. Build weapons like the Indomitable and become like old Earth, desperate and terrified. Or find a better way. A way that doesn't require reality-breaking weapons to survive. Kyungmin was silent for a long moment. And what if your people choose to build these weapons? Then in 20 years you'll face 100 ships like the Indomitable. Maybe you'll win. Maybe you won't, but is that a war you want to fight? In the background, Admiral Taiyang was shouting orders to attack. But Kyungmin overrode him. The Emperor's envoy had authority over all fleet operations. No, Kyungmin said finally. It's not. He looked directly at Minho. I will recommend to the Emperor that we negotiate a treaty. A real one. Because you're right. If we push humanity to desperation, we'll face something we can't control. And if the Emperor refuses, then you build your weapons and we have our war. But at least we tried peace first. The transmission ended. The Vreln fleet began to withdraw. On the wandering star, the crew watched the Indomitable's reactors begin to glow. Brighter and brighter, Jiwan's hologram appeared one last time, barely more than a whisper of light. You did well, Captain Park, better than we did. You chose wisdom over power. I learned from you, Minho said. No, you learned from our mistakes. That's better. Jiwan smiled. Tell the others. Tell humanity. The weapon isn't what makes you strong. Your humanity is what makes you strong. Then she was gone, and so was the Indomitable. The ancient warship exploded in a burst of light that could be seen across 3 star systems. Beautiful and terrible. A funeral pyre for old Earth's last weapon. A warning beacon for the future. 5 years passed. Captain Minho Park stood on the bridge of his new ship, the explorer vessel, New Dawn. Do-Yun was his chief engineer, Yuna his first officer, Hana his lead scientist. They searched the void together, looking for more remnants of old Earth. Not for weapons, but for wisdom. The Vrellan Empire and the Human Coalition had negotiated a treaty. An uneasy peace. Both sides knew the other could build terrible weapons. Both sides chose not to. For now, in universities across human space, scientists studied the Indomitable's data. Some worked on Project Aurora, trying to understand not how to build reality-warping weapons, but why such weapons corrupted those who used them. Others focused on better engines,